The twin suns of Zarathia were beginning to sink behind the jagged mountains, painting the dusty plains with streaks of orange and violet. Jax Callahan, a lone cowboy of the outer colonies, adjusted the brim of his wide hat and tightened his grip on the reins of his robotic steed, Dust. The plains of Zarathia were no place for the faint of heart. Rumors of roaming alien tribes, scavengers, and bandits had made travelers wary, but Jax was used to solitude. He thrived where others feared to step. Jax had been on Zarathia for weeks, following the trail of strange energy signatures that suggested a lost shipment of advanced technology. It was dangerous work, but it was also lucrative. The frontier planets were full of treasures, hidden and waiting for someone daring enough to claim them. And Jax had a reputation: clever, fearless, and lucky. As he rode across the barren plains, the wind carrying the scent of iron and dust, he noticed movement in the distance. 5 figures, tall and graceful, were silhouetted against the sun. They stood in a line, blocking the narrow canyon path ahead. Jax's instincts sharpened. These were not ordinary travelers. Their posture and the way they carried themselves hinted at warriors. Dust snorted softly, sensing the tension. Jax slowed, studying the figures. They wore ceremonial armor that shimmered with the light of Zarathia's suns, and each held a staff glowing faintly with blue energy. Jax knew immediately that he was facing members of the Cathari, a proud and secretive alien tribe known for guarding the planet's rare resources. Jax sighed. "Guess they've heard about me," he muttered. He had dealt with alien tribes before, and he knew confrontation could turn deadly in seconds. But Jax was not one to retreat. The leader of the group, a tall woman with silver markings across her face, stepped forward. "You trespass on Cathari lands, human," she said. Her voice was calm but carried authority. "State your purpose or turn back." Jax dismounted, keeping his hands visible. "Name's Jax Callahan. I'm looking for something valuable. Lost tech mostly. Didn't mean to trespass." He gave a small, polite bow. "I can leave if you want." The silver-marked leader raised an eyebrow. "You speak with respect. Few humans do, yet respect alone does not grant passage. Why do you seek what we protect?" Jax rubbed his chin. "Curiosity mostly, and maybe the chance to make a living. Out here you take risks. That's life on the frontier." He tried to sound confident, but his eyes were alert. He didn't know if these Cathari would trust words or if they expected action. The leader tilted her head. "You are far from your home, human. Your kind has been known to exploit, to take without understanding. Can you prove your intentions are honorable?" Jax considered this. He could lie, but that would be dangerous. These beings were not naive, they could sense dishonesty. Instead, he offered a small device from his satchel. It was a scanner, capable of reading environmental energy patterns. "I can show you what I'm tracking. I'm not here to steal. I just want to find what's lost." The Cathari studied the device with interest. "We will see," the leader said. She motioned to her companions, who stepped aside, forming a narrow path. "Follow carefully. One wrong step and we will assume threat." Jax nodded. "Understood." He mounted Dust again and followed. The Cathari led him through a narrow canyon where the walls glowed faintly with bioluminescent moss. The air was crisp and tinged with the metallic scent of the planet. Jax could sense the weight of history here. The Cathari had lived in harmony with the land for centuries. This was not just a home. It was a sanctuary. Hours passed as they navigated the canyon until they reached a clearing. In the center lay the remnants of a crashed freighter, half buried in the sand. Sparks flickered from exposed wires, and fragments of metallic crates were scattered around. The Cathari watched silently as Jax dismounted and approached. He knelt beside one of the crates and activated his scanner. The device hummed softly, highlighting traces of energy. Jax's eyes widened. "This is it, this tech. It's rare, more advanced than anything I've seen on the frontier." The leader stepped closer. "You see why we guard these lands? Many would take what they do not understand and bring ruin upon Zarathia. But you approach with caution, with respect. That is rare among your kind." Jax smiled faintly. "I've learned the hard way. The frontier doesn't forgive foolishness." He began carefully examining the freighter. Some of the crates contained equipment that could help rebuild settlements damaged by storms. Others held components for medical devices. The discovery was significant, not just valuable but meaningful. The Cathari leader studied him, her expression unreadable. "You understand the responsibility that comes with this knowledge?" she asked. I do, Jack said. I don't want to take it for myself. I want to make sure it's used right. Help the people who need it, not just sell it off. The leader's gaze softened slightly. Perhaps there is hope for your kind yet. But there are others, humans, who do not share your sense of honor. They will come and they will take. Are you ready to defend this place, not for profit, but for what is right? Jax nodded. I am. His voice carried determination. He could feel the weight of the moment, the trust the Cathari were offering, the challenge of protecting something greater than himself. Suddenly, dust emitted a low warning sound. Movement in the dunes. Jax's hand went to his blaster instinctively. Figures were approaching from the horizon, humanoid in shape but wearing heavy armor and carrying crude weapons. Bandits from the outer colonies, Jax realized. They must have tracked the freighter's crash. The Cathari tensed, weapons ready. They have come, the leader said. Will you stand with us, human? Jax's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. I'll do what I must. We can't let them take it. The bandits charged, kicking up clouds of sand. Jax mounted dust, weaving between dunes, firing shots to scare them back. The Cathari warriors moved with fluid precision, their staffs emitting bursts of energy that sent bandits sprawling. The clearing became a whirlwind of sand, light, and motion. Jax realized that this fight was not just about the freighter. It was about proving that humans could act with honor, that they could fight not for greed but for justice. His hands moved with skill, each shot calculated, each maneuver precise. Dust responded like an extension of himself, leaping and dodging with incredible agility. Hours felt like minutes. By sunset, the bandits had retreated, leaving behind broken equipment and scorched sand. Jax and the Cathari were victorious, but exhaustion was visible on every face. The leader approached Jax, placing a hand on his shoulder. You have done well, human. You have proven courage, skill, and honor. There may be a place for your kind here if you choose the right path. Jax nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. I'm learning every day. Maybe I can be better than the worst of us. The Cathari stepped back, allowing him a moment of reflection. Jax gazed at the freighter, the alien warriors, and the horizon bathed in the glow of Zarathia's twin suns. This was only the beginning. The frontier was harsh, the dangers were many, but it was also full of possibility. And for Jax, that was exactly where he wanted to be. He knew tomorrow would bring new challenges. Perhaps more humans would come seeking the freighter, or perhaps the Cathari would test him further. Whatever happened, Jax was ready. He had found allies, purpose, and a chance to prove that humanity could rise above its flaws. And in the heart of the Zarathian plains, under the twin suns, Jax Callahan felt alive. The night on Zarathia was quiet, almost too quiet. Jax Callahan sat by a small fire he had made near the freighter's remains. Dust grazed nearby, his metallic coat shimmering under the light of Zarathia's twin moons. The Cathari warriors had retreated to their hidden settlement, leaving Jax with the freedom to rest, but he didn't feel at ease. Even as he sipped water from his canteen, Jax's mind raced. He had proven himself to the Cathari, defended the freighter, and earned their trust. But he knew the frontier was far from safe. The bandits might return with reinforcements or, worse, the lost technology could attract powerful outsiders from other colonies. Jax understood that this was a test not only of skill, but also of wisdom and honor. The fire crackled, casting shadows across the sand. Jax leaned back, trying to relax, when a soft hum reached his ears. It was faint, almost melodic, but carried a sense of purpose. He looked up. From the canyon walls, faint lights appeared, moving like lanterns in the distance. Jax's heart skipped a beat. It was the Cathari returning. The silver-marked leader emerged from the shadows, flanked by 4 other warriors. Her expression was serious but not angry. Jax Callahan, she said, her voice calm yet commanding. The Council of Cathari wishes to speak with you. Your actions have been noted, but respect alone does not grant full acceptance. You must undergo the trial of honor. Jax blinked, surprised. Trial of honor? He asked. The leader nodded. Yes, it is a challenge, a test to see if you are worthy of the trust you have earned. It is not about strength alone, but about intelligence, courage, and integrity. Do you accept? Jax smiled faintly, brushing sand from his coat. I didn't come this far to back down. I accept. The Cathari warriors led him to a narrow canyon path, lit by glowing moss. At the canyon's end was a large chamber, its walls carved with intricate symbols that pulsed faintly with energy. At the center of the chamber stood a pedestal holding a small crystal sphere. Jax recognized the glow. It was the same energy signature he had been tracking. You must retrieve the sphere, the leader explained. But the path is not simple. It will challenge your mind, your body, and your judgment. You will face illusions, obstacles, and choices. How you act will determine if you are worthy. Jax nodded. I'm ready. As he stepped forward, the chamber shifted. Walls seemed to move. The floor rippled like water and whispers filled the air. Jax's heart pounded, but he focused. His years on the frontier had taught him one thing: panic would be fatal. Step by step, he moved carefully, studying each motion of the floor and every shifting shadow. The first challenge was a bridge suspended over a glowing chasm. The bridge swayed and creaked with each step. Jax tested the boards with his boot before committing his weight. Halfway across, a sudden tremor shook the bridge. He froze, then remembered a lesson from Dust's movements. Trust your instincts, stay calm, and act deliberately. He shifted his weight smoothly, letting the bridge stabilize and finally reach the other side. Next came a series of moving walls, forming a maze that seemed endless. Jax paused, scanning the energy patterns in the walls with his portable scanner. He realized the walls reacted to fear and hesitation. If he panicked, they would trap him. Breathing deeply, he focused on the patterns, predicting their movement, and found a rhythm. Slowly, but surely, he navigated the maze, his mind sharp, his senses alert. Finally, Jax faced the last challenge. A deep pool of water separated him from the pedestal. As he approached, the water shimmered, and visions appeared on its surface. He saw himself taking the sphere and leaving, ignoring the Cathari, taking the freighter's tech for personal gain. The visions were tempting: wealth, recognition, freedom. But Jax shook his head. No, he muttered. This isn't why I came here. As soon as he spoke, the water cleared, revealing a safe path across. Jax crossed carefully and reached the pedestal. He lifted the crystal sphere, feeling a warmth and clarity unlike anything he had experienced. Energy pulsed through him, but not in a violent way. Rather, it felt like understanding, like the planet itself was acknowledging his worth. The Cathari leader stepped forward. You have passed the trial of honor, Jax Callahan. You have shown courage, intelligence, and respect. You understand that power is a responsibility, not a prize. Jax placed the sphere carefully in his pack. I understand, and I promise I will honor that responsibility. The leader smiled faintly. Then you are welcome among the Cathari as an ally. Not all humans are like you, but your actions prove that your kind can rise above the worst instincts and act with wisdom and honor. Days passed as Jax worked alongside the Cathari to secure the freighter's technology. They repaired damaged equipment, studied the energy signatures, and made plans to share the technology with settlements that needed it most. Jax discovered that the Cathari were not just warriors. They were scholars, engineers, and protectors. Their knowledge of the planet's unique resources was unparalleled, and they trusted Jax to act responsibly. One morning as the twin suns rose, Jax looked out over the plains. Dust grazed nearby, and the Cathari warriors trained in the distance. Jax felt a sense of purpose he had never known. This frontier was more than a challenge or a place to make a living. It was a chance to be better, to prove that humanity could act with honor, courage, and intelligence. But the frontier was never truly safe. Scouts reported movement in the distance. Other humans from the outer colonies had heard of the freighter and were approaching. Unlike the bandits before, these newcomers were organized, determined, and possibly armed with advanced technology. Jax knew that diplomacy and strategy would be essential. Violence alone would not win this time. Jax met with the Cathari leaders. We have to plan carefully, he said. If they come for the freighter, we can't just fight. We need a strategy that protects the tech and avoids unnecessary conflict. The leader nodded. You have learned much from the trial, Jax. Your mind is sharp. We will combine our knowledge and your experience with the frontier. Together, we may succeed. Over the next hours, Jax worked with the Cathari to design traps, diversions, and protective barriers around the freighter. They used holographic projections to mislead any intruders, energy pulses to block access, and strategic patrols to keep watch. Jax's ingenuity, combined with the Cathari's mastery of the land and technology, created a fortress that was both invisible and formidable. When the humans from the outer colonies finally arrived, they found only empty plains and mysterious energy signals. Every attempt to breach the defenses was countered with precision, forcing the newcomers to retreat. Jax realized that this was not about defeating others, it was about proving that humans could collaborate, think critically, and act honorably. As the sun set once again, Jax stood atop a small hill, dust at his side. The freighter glowed softly in the distance, safe and secure. The Cathari warriors approached, their expressions proud. "You have done well, human," the silver-marked leader said. "You have earned more than trust, you have earned respect. Zarathia welcomes you as a friend and ally." Jax smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known on the frontier. "I'll do my best to honor that," he said. "And I'll make sure others know that humans can be trusted too." The twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the plains. Jax Callahan knew that the frontier was far from finished with him, but he no longer feared the unknown. With courage, intelligence, and honor, humanity could rise to meet any challenge. And on Zarathia, under the glow of alien suns, a lone human cowboy had found not only adventure but purpose, and the beginning of a new chapter for humans and Cathari alike.